And now we're going to Minnesota. Jessi Pierce joins us from NHL.com on the Bardown Beauties podcast. And Jessi, it was a year ago that I think you first appeared on the show, and I really realized you knew your stuff. You're like, this is not a rebuild, getting rid of Suter and Parisi. They're going after it. They're trying to move some money around here. And lo and behold, they had a tremendous regular season. I got them picked second in the Central this year. What are your thoughts on the Wild as we get ready to open training camp here in a couple weeks?
I mean, I like second. I think it's very easy for them to achieve that. I do think last year Minnesota slightly overexceeded some expectations. You look at guys like Ryan Hartman, you look at guys like Marcus Foligno, Jordan Greenway, who had career years. Now you're expecting them to replicate that in some sort of essence this coming season, which is attainable. It's going to be a challenge, though. They've got to make up for those 85 points missing from Kevin Fiala, who was traded to the Los Angeles Canes in exchange for a first-round pick in this year's draft, as well as Brock Faber, a defenseman prospect out of the University of Minnesota. So, I mean, that's going to be a lot to ask for, but still Minnesota returns a lot of the same team. Fiala, a big piece missing, as well as Cam Talbot, who got shipped up to Ottawa in exchange for their Philip Gustafsson, who comes down here to back up Marc-Andre Fleury. So it's going to be another exciting season. Again, I think Bill Guerin knows what he's doing, general manager of this team, continues to put his stamp on the squad, and I'm excited to see what he can do. But I like your pick, Rod. Second, I'll take it.
Well, we'll see, and I apologize. The yard guy has showed up for the first time in a month, so I don't know if you can hear that or not. But anyways, you do such a great job of covering the Wild, and going into the playoffs, you said that Marc-Andre Fleury, neither him nor general manager Bill Guerin wanted to talk about a contract extension or a new deal going into the playoffs. And then they signed it in July. Do you think they knew then what ended up happening or not? How did that situation play out?
I think Marc-Andre Fleury did feel very comfortable here at Minnesota. It was close to home. Family is a big, important deal to him. And also, he wants to win. And Minnesota has been building toward a contender. I'm not comfortable just yet saying that they are a true contender. I think there are still a couple missing pieces away, and they still need to see what they can get out of young guys like Marco Rossi, who's going to make an impact this year, like Matt Boldy, who made an impact last year. And you want Kirill Kaprizov to continue to trend upward and continue to solidify that spot as a superstar. So all of those pieces, I think Marc-Andre Fleury definitely looked at and said, you know what? I like what we're doing. Plus, I think he had great communication conversations with Bill Guerin. Obviously, they have a relationship dating back to their time together with Pittsburgh. But Bill Guerin has done such a tremendous job with communicating with all of his players, even with Kevin Fiala. As I mentioned, when he got shipped out, he just said, hey, we can't afford you. He knew that. I mean, he knew those buyouts were going to come back to haunt him for the next couple of years in restraining and tightening that salary cap for Minnesota. But I think Marc-Andre Fleury likes it here, is happy here, is comfortable here. And now he gets a full season with this team too. I mean, they have a pretty strong defensive core, and obviously we know what the offense can produce. So I think all of those factored into Marc-Andre Fleury saying, you know what? Yep, I am going to come back here.
Viewer BW in Edmonton writes in, Cam is gone. Yes, Cam is in Ottawa, and that's why we love doing these preview shows, to just update everybody on who's gone where. Now, speaking of that, what can you tell us about Kirill Kaprizov? Because whether it was spring or summer, there was the big uprising over whether he could get out of Russia or back in. I'm not sure. What's his status, as much as you can say, going into training camp?
Yeah, he is here. He is in Minnesota. He got here a couple weeks ago for sure. That was confirmed via sightings at the local racetrack, and he's been working out with the team at some practice facility events and whatnot. So he's here. He's safe and sound. The reports were in Russian, so nobody really has heard exactly what went on. It was just a struggle for him to get over here last year. He never got his work visa because of all the COVID protocols. Players were allowed to kind of skip that step last year, Kirill Kaprizov being one of those guys. So I think that definitely was a problem. And obviously some of the politics going on in Russia had everybody worried. But he's here. Minnesota Wild fans and hockey fans in general can rest easy. Kirill Kaprizov will be back in the NHL. He's good to go at training camp, which is even different from last year. He barely made the cut before training camp as they were working out contract negotiations last season. So it's nice to have Kirill here for the extended period of time, and I'm sure he's raring to go like the rest of the team.
Well, it's interesting you say that about the Russian reports. It reminds me of Patrick Laine and reports from Finland, his native Finland, right, and how it got lost in translation, but it ruffled so many feathers it led to his eventual trade from the team. So I could see how that would be a problem and a highly, highly delicate matter. Now, I don't have many other questions left for you other than you're getting a tremendous player there in Minnesota in Sam Steele. I've known him since he was 15 years old. I'm a little dismayed that he couldn't get a deal done with the Anaheim Ducks, but it's the Wild's gain. What is Coach Evason saying about Sam Steele being a part of the Wild this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's very excited. For so long, Minnesota has lacked that center depth, and I think Sam Steele is that experienced kid to come in and take that spot. Everyone's pegged Marco Rossi to take a step in, and he is going to be an exciting player to watch, no question. He was able to grow and develop in the American Hockey League last year with the Iowa Wild, but I think Sam Steele, again, there's a lot to be excited about. Bill Guerin's very excited, and he's affordable. I think that's the biggest thing that Bill Guerin and Dean Evason and everybody has been able to do, has been able to create this slightly step toward contending team with the tightened money that they have. And that's an impressive feat in and of itself. So I know Sam Steele is going to be very welcomed in. I think he's going to get a huge opportunity with the need to produce offensively. So I'm very, very excited to have him part of this organization.
And let me just ask you this, lastly, before I let you go. I've been to Minnesota a few times. I feel that you people are honorary Canadians in terms of you bundle up for cold. You have to deal with winter conditions. You love hockey. But where do the Wild rate on the sports radar in terms of who's playing right now? The Vikings, the Twins, you get the Timberwolves, obviously, firing up before long. Where do the Wild rate on the excitement level meter for fans right now there?
That's a great question. I mean, in Minnesota, it's a constant state of despair. We are always willing to get hurt again and again, whether it's the Vikings, whether it's the Twins, whether it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. But, we call ourselves the state of hockey for a reason. I think Vikings football, there's reason to be excited there because now you have a new coach, a new offensive scheme, Justin Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers in the league. I think he's going to really prove that this year. But they're still the Vikings, and you still just never know what to expect from them. So I think there's still enough excitement surrounding the Wild because they haven't taken the ice yet. Again, Kirill Kaprizov has come in, reignited the fan base here, reignited everybody's love for it. So I'd be willing to say Wild are number one. I'm probably slightly biased because I know the Vikings are up there. The Twins, they're probably easily number three, but they let us down all the time. They should have won everything this year, and they didn't.
It's been a while.
What are you going to do?
It's been. I know. I follow it enough to know. I guess, Jessi, before we let you go, where people can listen to your podcast and read your stuff. I'm a regular follower at NHL.com, but you got the podcast too. Tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Bardown Beauties, weekly episodes released every single Monday during the course of the season. We're ready to kick off season 4 next year. We started this right before COVID, managed to continue to go through, have had some really awesome guests though. So it's been a fun time, always talking hockey, slightly Minnesota based, but we certainly branch out, especially with our guests coming in and sharing their insights. And listen to it on all your podcast streaming apps, YouTube, and then NHL.com. You can find all my work there, as well as this season. I will be doing some more player features for Wild.com as well. So feel free to find me there and follow me on Jessi, JESSI_Pierce, PIERCE on Twitter.
Done deal.
Great stuff, Jessi. Love your work. Keep it up. We'll chat soon. Enjoy the rest of the fall.
Sounds good, Rod. Thanks so much.
Jessi Pierce checking in from Minnesota. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.